Pause for a moment. Breathe. What you are about to hear is no coincidence. This message did not appear in your life by chance, nor did it arrive too early or too late. It came at the exact moment when your body began to give signs, silent signs, often ignored, yet carrying a deep spiritual weight. The feeling that something inside you is changing without a logical explanation is not madness. It's not an illusion. It's the beginning of an awakening. And if you felt this transformation coming, even if only in whispers, it's because you are being called, not by this video, not by me, but by a force that lives within you and is now beginning to reveal itself. Lately, you may have felt that time is acting strangely, as if the days are speeding up, the past feels far away, and the present feels out of focus. Your body, in turn, has started to react. Exhaustion without cause, vivid dreams, sudden waves of energy or sadness, a heightened sensitivity that makes you perceive the world differently. But the truth is, it's not the world that's changing, it's you. You're not disconnecting from reality. You're disconnecting from the illusion. What no longer serves your spirit is being peeled away, layer by layer, so the new can be born. That's why everything feels so intense. That's why certain relationships are falling away, old habits are becoming unbearable, and ordinary conversations feel empty. Your body no longer wants to survive, it wants to awaken. Your heart no longer wants to hide, it wants to lead. And your soul, tired of sleeping within a dormant body, has begun to rise. Yes, it's confusing. Yes, it's painful, but it is also sacred because you are crossing the threshold between two dimensions. You are being prepared to live in a higher frequency where truth is felt before it is spoken, where love is action and not just word, and where your very existence becomes a bridge between the visible and the invisible. This video is not just content, it is a sign, a mirror, a confirmation that you are not alone. And above all, it is a response to what your body has been trying to tell you for a long time. So stay here, because what will be revealed next has the power to reorganize what you feel, think, and understand about yourself. And if something inside you already knew this change was happening, this is the moment to understand why. You are entering the fifth dimension, and it all starts now. If something within you sensed all of this even before hearing these words, write in the comments, 111, I feel the calling. That is your confirmation. And if this message touched you in any way, subscribe to the channel and stay with us, because what comes next may completely transform how you live, feel, and connect with the divine. The fifth dimension is not a distant place in space, nor an abstract idea invented by mystics. It's not on another planet, nor does it require you to abandon your physical life to reach it. The fifth dimension is a vibrational state, a spiritual frequency that already exists here and now, silent, subtle, and invisible to ordinary eyes. It is a higher field of consciousness where the soul becomes the guide, the heart is the compass, and energy is the language. And perhaps, without even realizing it, you already have one foot inside it. To understand what the fifth dimension is, you must first understand what it is not. Unlike what many believe, it is not about becoming a supernatural being or escaping reality. It is not about abandoning the body or the material world, but rather about reconciling with the purest part of ourselves. While the third dimension where most people still live is marked by fear, ego, separation, and the struggle to survive, the fifth dimension operates on a different level. One where love, inner peace, intuition, and spiritual purpose are the foundations of existence. In this new space of consciousness, your perception of time begins to shift. The past and future lose their rigidity, and you begin to live more intensely in the now, as if everything were connected by something greater. Words are no longer enough, because energy becomes clearer than speech. You feel the vibration of places, perceive truth between the lines, and your relationship with the divine becomes personal, direct, undeniable. God is no longer a distant idea, he becomes a living presence within you. And most importantly, this dimension does not require your physical death to be accessed. It is being anchored right here as you live. Your body, your mind, and your spirit are adjusting in order to sustain this new frequency. That's why everything feels different. That's why you are more sensitive. Because now you are being prepared to walk between two worlds, the world that your eyes see and the world that only the heart can recognize. And that in itself is sacred. In the fifth dimension, the chaos outside no longer defines your inner state. You begin to respond with awareness instead of reacting with fear. Judgments lose their grip, conflicts lessen, and compassion becomes your most natural instinct. You begin to trust your intuition without needing proof, and move toward what you feel, even if you don't fully understand why. In this space, there is no separation between what you believe and what you live, because everything aligns, everything becomes coherent, everything vibrates at the frequency of truth. This is not a leap you force, it is an ascension you allow, and it begins right there within you. Your body is not breaking, it is being rebuilt. Silently, it has been trying to show you that something much greater is happening. You feel the signs, even without knowing how to explain them. That unshakable fatigue, the nights when you wake up for no reason, the energy fluctuations, the sudden pains that appear and disappear as if they don't belong to any physical cause, none of this is by chance. These are clear manifestations that your body is aligning with a new frequency. It is being prepared to sustain the vibrational level of the fifth dimension. And this preparation is not gentle, it is deep, intense, sacred. You may have felt pressure in your head, tingling in your hands or feet, waves of heat running along your spine, or chest pains that have no explanation through tests or diagnoses. And still, you felt fear. You thought you were ill. You believed something was wrong. But the truth is, your body is trying to tell you that nothing is wrong. In reality, everything is finally aligning. What you're feeling is energy codes being activated, cells being reprogrammed, nervous centers being adjusted. Your entire system is being recalibrated to hold a new consciousness. That's why your sleep cycles have changed. On some nights, it feels like you absorbed the entire universe. On others, you wake up exhausted even after many hours in bed. This happens because while you sleep, your soul travels, your energy is treated, and your spiritual field receives what it needs. Even your eating habits are changing. Those heavy foods that once satisfied you now seem repulsive. Your body, in its wisdom, starts to reject what no longer nourishes the new. It seeks lightness, purity, simplicity, because the spirit is taking over. Have you noticed how even your skin feels more sensitive? How your digestion has changed? How your appetite shifts without warning? These signs, which so many ignore or try to silence, are the body trying to free itself from everything dense, artificial, and accumulated. It is pushing out the emotional, energetic, and physical residues of the old you that no longer make sense. That's also why there are moments of intense emotion, tears that appear without cause, laughter that bursts out of nowhere, the sudden emptiness that forces you to look inward. All of this is purification. It is tuning in to the new world that is already pulsing within you. Even the rhythm of your heart has been speaking. That pressure in your chest, the sudden chills, the unexplainable palpitations, all of it is part of heart expansion. Because the heart is the gateway to the fifth dimension. And for that door to open fully, it must release emotions that have been stored for years. It must exhale love, truth, vulnerability. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it is divinely necessary. Your physical structure is becoming a channel, a living bridge between heaven and earth. And that requires surrender, care, listening. You are not sick. You are awakening. You are being restored on levels that conventional medicine cannot reach. Your body is responding to the soul's call. And as strange as it may seem, this process is a gift. It is the confirmation that you are already walking between dimensions, even if you haven't fully realized it yet. Have you ever noticed how some people seem restless around you, while others simply feel at peace just by being near you? That's not a coincidence. It's your energy expanding. It's your spiritual field undergoing a profound, subtle, yet visibly real transformation. This shift isn't limited to what you think or feel. It's happening in the invisible part of you that surrounds, protects, and connects you to the spiritual world, your aura. As your soul awakens and rises in frequency, your vibration begins to change and everything around you responds to it. Perhaps you start to feel more sensitive to environments. A place that once felt neutral now seems heavy. A sound, a song, a crowd, everything impacts you differently. That's because your aura is more sensitive, more reactive, more alive. Your energy field is being fine-tuned like a spiritual instrument. It's becoming selective, refined, and clear. That's why you can sense, without anyone saying a word, when something is off. That's why silence has become more comforting than many conversations. What once was noise has become interference. And what used to be just intuition is now wisdom in motion. This heightened sensitivity is a sign that your spiritual field is activating a greater capacity for perception. And it's not just about protection, it's also about expansion. In moments of stillness, during prayers, meditations, or simple states of presence, you may begin to feel something different around you, a larger presence, as if something surrounding you is also you, but wiser, deeper, more aware. This is your light body awakening. It's your higher self beginning to inhabit your earthly existence more powerfully. You may not see it with your eyes, but you're already feeling it, and that feeling is real. Your presence changes the atmosphere. Your touch carries something. Your words have more weight. Have you noticed how your voice affects others? How people open up, confess, cry, heal in your presence? That is a reflection of your vibrational field, which is now emitting clarity, healing, and light. Your energy is becoming a mirror, and because of that, people react differently. Some feel embraced. Others feel exposed. Because where there is light, everything hidden begins to appear. This transformation is sacred, and that's why silence has become essential. It's in silence that you rebalance. It's in silence that you cleanse yourself from the excess the world insists on pouring onto you. Even your relationship with technology, with artificial lights, with certain voices or content is changing. What once went unnoticed now disturbs you because your field is no longer tolerating anything that's not aligned with the new frequency you carry. And with this comes the gift of discernment. You begin to know without proof, to feel before understanding. Dreams become messages. Intuitions become confirmations. You realize that your spiritual body is operating on another level, a level where time is no longer linear, where danger is sensed before it arrives, where truth reveals itself without needing explanation. And if anyone has ever told you you're different or your presence is calming, understand that's real. It's the universe confirming that your energy is operating exactly as it should. You're becoming what you've always been, a transmitter of light, a reflection of the divine. And the most beautiful part is, you don't even need to say a word. Your vibration says it all. If in recent times you found yourself crying for no apparent reason, feeling nostalgic for things you can't even name, or being overwhelmed by a sudden sadness that seems to come from very ancient places, you don't be alarmed. You're not falling apart. You're going through a deep process of emotional cleansing. What once seemed forgotten, overcome, dormant, is resurfacing not to hurt you again, but to be released once and for all. And as uncomfortable as it may be, this is one of the most sacred stages of your spiritual awakening. What you're experiencing is a true soul detox, an internal purification process that begins when your spirit's frequency starts to rise, and with it, all emotions tied to fear, pain, rejection, and guilt can no longer find a place to remain. These emotions are dense. They vibrate at a frequency incompatible with the fifth dimension. They are like anchors that hold your energy in a world your soul has already started to leave behind. And so your body cries, aches, trembles, pulses, because it's trying to release everything you've carried for far too long. You may be reliving painful memories, thinking about people who are no longer here, feeling grief over old versions of yourself. Yes, you might actually be grieving the death of your old identity. That version of you who had to be strong to survive, who buried feelings to avoid more pain, who hardened just to keep going, is now dissolving. Not because it was wrong, but because it has fulfilled its purpose. And now, for the new to emerge, the old must be honored and then released. That's why some emotions come in waves: anger, then longing, then tears, followed by a silent peace that feels almost sacred. This is not emotional instability, it's energetic movement. It's your field learning not to store pain anymore, but to let it move through you. And the more you allow this flow, the lighter you feel. Your gaze becomes clearer, your presence becomes more real. Perhaps you're still wondering why this is all happening now. The answer is simple: because now you are ready. Your soul knows it's time to let go of the layers that no longer belong to who you are. Forgiveness, compassion, and acceptance begin to bloom not as effort, but as the natural result of a soul beginning to breathe freely. You're not weak for feeling. You're brave for allowing yourself to heal. And if at any moment you feel alone in this process, take a deep breath. There are thousands of other hearts going through the same silent purification. There is an army of souls awakening alongside you. And every tear that falls is a veil being lifted. Every emotion that dissolves makes space for true love to take its place, a love that doesn't depend on anyone else, because it is born from within. Born from someone who has chosen to evolve. You're not just feeling different, you're also thinking differently. And that's no coincidence. It's a sign that the mental reprogramming has already begun. As your frequency rises and your soul starts to occupy more space within you, the old thought patterns, those based on fear, comparison, and scarcity, begin to dissolve. A new voice is emerging within your mind. A calmer voice, wiser, more aligned with who you truly are. That's why what once made sense now feels foreign. The worries that used to consume your days no longer have the same grip on you. And the thoughts that once echoed as unquestionable truths are now just fading noise. Maybe you've noticed you can no longer feed off those limiting beliefs. That need to please others, the constant fear of judgment, the anxiety about the future, all of that is weakening. And without even realizing it, you've started to question, why did I used to think that way? Why did I believe I wasn't capable? Why did I settle for so little when deep down I knew I deserved more? These questions don't come from your old mind, they arise from the new consciousness emerging within you. A consciousness that no longer wants to survive, it wants to expand. This transformation can feel unsettling. At times, you might feel confused, unsure of who you are anymore. And in truth, you're no longer who you believed you were, you're becoming who you've always been in essence. The brain, once accustomed to functioning on autopilot, is now making room for conscious choices. Fear gives way to trust, noise gives way to silence, and you begin to notice the power of your words, your thoughts, your intentions. Because everything you repeat within yourself will sooner or later manifest outside of you. That's why surface level conversations tire you, negative content drains you, critical voices no longer carry the same authority. You're learning, even if only intuitively, to choose your thoughts. You're beginning to understand that focus is creative, and that every thought is a seed. If you plant light, you harvest direction. If you plant shadow, you harvest confusion. This is the new mental ground of the fifth dimension, a space where thoughts are no longer driven by defense, but by truth, healing, and expansion. And you've already noticed, time feels different. Days seem to fly by. Past memories are becoming distant, as if they belong to another lifetime. That's because your mind is leaving behind linear time, the kind that measures life in minutes, and entering divine time, where everything happens in the now. You're no longer bound to what was, and you're no longer dependent on what will be. Your mind is being trained to live with presence, clarity, and purpose. This reprogramming isn't just mental, it's spiritual. It's the invisible foundation of the reality you're building. And the more you align with your new way of thinking, the more your external life begins to reflect that shift. Words gain power, intuitions become certainty, silence becomes an answer. And inner peace no longer depends on what's outside, because you're finally beginning to understand that the world changes when you change the way you see it. Suddenly, the numbers began to repeat. You check the time, and there it is. 11, 11, 22, 22, 5:55. Sounds, songs, stray phrases begin to appear exactly when you're thinking about something important. Vivid, intense dreams seem to carry messages that go beyond what the mind can decipher. All of this may seem like coincidence at first, but something within you knows it's not. These signs aren't random. They are responses from the universe, visible spiritual manifestations that gently, yet precisely, show that your energy is already tuned into a new reality. These synchronicities are not isolated phenomena. They are part of a sacred language, a direct communication between your spiritual self and divine intelligence. And the more you awaken, the more this language intensifies. The universe begins to speak to you not just through words, but through patterns, symbols, encounters, repetitions, and sensations. It confirms what your soul already knows, even when your mind is still uncertain. What once seemed invisible begins to take shape. What used to be dismissed as coincidence becomes understood as a spiritual calling. You begin to realize that everything is connected. Thoughts carry more weight, intentions manifest more quickly, emotions generate reactions in the external world almost instantly. This alignment is not an illusion, it's a sign that the barrier between the physical and spiritual worlds is becoming thinner. You're operating on a different frequency, and that frequency is shaping your reality in real time. The world around you no longer responds only to what you do, but to what you feel, think, and radiate. The messages don't come only through numbers. Animals appear in moments of doubt. People from the past return just when a part of you is about to close a chapter. Dreams become prophetic. Words from strangers deliver answers to questions you never voiced. Even silence begins to speak. Sometimes it's in that pause between thoughts that you most feel the presence of the divine. It's in that stillness that the universe whispers, "You're on the right path, keep going." You're not searching for signs, the signs are searching for you. And they find you because you've begun to vibrate in the frequency of truth. It's not magic, it's spiritual coherence. You ask for clarity, and now it comes in the form of synchronicity. You asked for direction, and now it arrives through number codes, soul-aligned encounters, and sensations the world can't explain, but that you feel as absolute truths. When this happens, don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it as chance. Honor it. Give thanks, and ask, what is this sign trying to show me? Because the answer is already inside you. And each time you recognize a sign with gratitude, the universe sends another, because it knows you're listening. And when the soul listens, the path reveals itself. As you elevate spiritually, everything around you begins to align with this new vibration, including people. And that's when one of the most profound transformations begins. Your relationships start to change. People who once understood you now seem distant. Conversations that used to feel comfortable now sound forced. Bonds loosen, connections fade, and silence emerges not out of indifference, but out of evolution. And this separation, though painful, is not a punishment, it's a calling, a divine redirection. Because your soul is entering a new frequency, and not everyone will be able to walk this path with you. You might wonder if you're doing something wrong. You might even feel guilty for distancing yourself from people who were once part of your journey. But understand this, your energy is shifting. You no longer vibrate in scarcity, fear, or emotional dependence. Now your soul seeks truth, authenticity, purpose, and anything rooted in control, attachment, or manipulation simply can't sustain itself anymore. This doesn't mean you're better than anyone. It simply means you're being guided into a new field of relationships where the exchange is soul to soul, not mask to mask. Those who remain, stay by resonance. Those who leave, do so because their mission is complete. And in this inner space that is being cleared, something magical begins to bloom. Your spiritual gifts. That which has always existed within you, but was buried under layers of pain, fear, and distraction, now begins to awaken with force. You feel before you know. You perceive energy before a word is spoken. You dream vividly. Your intuitions are confirmed. You sense subtle presences. And often you're moved to tears for no apparent reason. This isn't emotional sensitivity, it's activation. It's your spiritual field opening like an antenna of light. You're becoming a conscious channel, a receiver of divine wisdom. And yes, these gifts come with responsibility. They are not for display. They are tools you've been given to heal, guide, protect, and illuminate. That's why silence has become so important to you lately, because it's in silence that your gifts refine. It's there that you hear more clearly. It's there that you receive instructions to walk paths your mind might not yet understand. Your soul already knows where it's going. Your mind is simply being invited to trust. And now, at this point in your journey, you feel it. There's no turning back. Your life is changing completely. What you eat, who you spend time with, what you consume, what you think, how you rest, everything begins to reflect the new being you are becoming. Your body asks for lighter foods, your energy rejects overstimulation, your soul longs for nature, simplicity, truth. You discover you no longer need to convince anyone because now your vibration speaks louder than any words. And this is the beginning of the true preparation. To live truly as a fifth dimensional being right here in this world. You begin to care for your energy as you care for your body. You cleanse your spiritual field as you clean your home. You protect your time as you protect your heart, because you understand that your mission is not to convince, it's to embody the change. And in the midst of all this, you may still feel fear, still question if you're ready, still look back with longing for what once was. But the answer will always come in silence, like a breeze that touches the soul and says, you already are everything you need to be. The new earth is not arriving through the clouds. It is emerging through people like you who had the courage to unravel, to rebuild, to align. The world needs you awake, steady, present. And if you've made it this far, it's because something within you never doubted. You were shaped by pain, healed by faith, guided by the unseen. And now you carry in your body and soul the vibration of what is to come. So breathe, feel, celebrate, because your presence now is the greatest sign that the fifth dimension has already begun. And if this truth touched something within you, comment 111 below so the universe can see, and others who are awakening can recognize themselves too. You weren't called to just watch, you were called to live this fully. You are the bridge, you are the channel, you are the awakening.